Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Linux video. Today with us we have Linux Mint Mate. This is not the Cinnamon edition, so welcome to Linux Mint 22.2 Zara Mate edition, and let's dive right in. Alright, welcome to Linux Mint. Welcome to your new operating system. Now, before we go through the welcome screen, this is how the Linux Mint Mate looks. So you do have your panel at the bottom with some pinned apps over to the left, including the applications menu, which has places, so your computer, home folder, network, desktop, trash, system. So this includes software manager, control center, lock screen, log out, quit, and then all of your applications neatly categorized into different sectors, including an all sector, which has everything arranged in an alphabetical order for you to see. Now, these pinned apps don't open by themselves. Like what I mean to say is, if you open an application, like files, for example, I guess this is Nemo. So, I mean, this is, okay, so this is Gaha because this is running Mate. So Mint, the file explorer, if I minimize this, it's gonna go down here. So this is kind of like Windows XP, how things used to work then. It doesn't go back into the icon, it just has its own little nubbin over here. And over to the right we do get wired connections or network connections, and then audio, and then notes as well. This is a handy little touch. Notes did receive improvements, so we're going to talk about that later in the video. And then you do get your date and time. Okay, and you can also add to the panel. You can go to properties, you can reset the panel, you can add a new panel, and you can do multiple stuff over here. All right, let's go to the welcome screen, and this guides you through your first steps when you install Linux Mint. If you already know about this, feel free to skip to the sections that you want to watch, and let's just go ahead. If you're sticking around, let's just talk about it. So first up, we have desktop colors. This is pretty good. Now this is going to be different from Cinnamon. So this has themes over here. So custom, Mint L Aqua, Mint L Blue. I really love this yellow appearance, so I think we're going to stick with that. Let's check out a few others though. What about Mint L? And then, okay, yeah, it took a little time, but okay, that doesn't look bad. I like the green. I like this black and white look. And we do get, let's see what others are there. Mint L Darker. Let's give it a second. Okay. Now, so it takes a little bit of time to fully change into the theme that we selected, but I think this looks fantastic, absolutely gorgeous. So I think we're just gonna go back to the custom theme that we had at the beginning. Okay, that changes. I thought this would be the default one that we had to begin with, but apparently it's not. So for example, if you wanted to go back to what you had, I guess you could just search for yellow, and let's just do this, I guess. Give it a little bit of time. And I mean, this is yellow. This is good. So we're going to stick with this for the rest of the video. I think dark mode looks absolutely fantastic. Let's check out the panel. And yeah, this absolutely does look great. One complaint I have is that these look a little too small for a laptop screen. This is a 1080p screen in a 15.6 inch display panel, so at 100% it does look a little bit too small, and these icons are clumped together, man. Even this on a desktop where you do have 100% scaling, and that's normal. Like usually Windows will have on this display, Windows will be at 125%, so that's perfectly fine. But for Mint Mate, I believe a little bit of upscaling is necessary. Although if you do go to the displays section, you only get 100 and a 200, and 200 is going to be huge. You're not going to like what it has. So see, it's not. Let's go back to 100%. And I know that was a little bit jarring, I'm sorry. But yeah, let's just close this and let's continue on with the tour. So we do have these desktop colors, and we can also customize them. We can choose the controls, window border, icons, the pointer, etc. Really cool. I mean, it doesn't look the same as Cinnamon, but it does have all the functionality in terms of changing themes and pointers and stuff, so that's pretty good. Now since we're already here, let's just go ahead and talk about the background. We don't really get new backgrounds because this is a beta release. We are going to see some new ones when the final version comes around, but even then, let's just try out some of these. I guess that looks fine. It doesn't look bad. Now the trick is, because I have to make thumbnails as well, it needs to look clickable for a video. Okay, so that's also there, but I'm not going to waste your time with that decision. And one of the new ones that I thought was here, is this. This looks gorgeous as well. This absolutely looks gorgeous. I think we're just going to stick with this for the rest of the video, and even the thumbnail maybe. And then you do get your regular selection of fonts, and then you interface, and you can show icons and menus, hidden items, size column, type column, sort directories first, all that good stuff. And you do get a preview over here. So we're done with that. Let's go to the welcome dialog box. We're going to close this. And then you have system snapshots. So what this does is basically have snapshots. If you work something on your computer, you can go ahead to a previous snapshot or an image of your desktop, which would contain everything literally just as it was before you broke it. Congratulations. And you can just go back to it. You can launch it. You can select rsync, because that's what it is. We're not going to go through the setup because this is inside a virtual machine. But once you do finish the setup and you choose how many times a day or a week you want snapshots to be, they will come up over here, and then you can just pick and choose which one you want to go back to. So that's pretty good. We do have driver manager for managing drivers. You want to install multimedia codecs once you install this, so that's really good. Update manager, we're going to talk about that. System settings, software manager, and the firewall. We're going to take a look at all of these a little bit later in the video. Update manager, you guys know about this, right? So this is the handy dandy place where all the updates take place. It's a really good place. Like, it's a consolidated bazaar where you find everything, and not only the updates to the apps or a system, whatever, but you can also update the kernel. So over here you have Linux kernels. They do give you a warning, which is needed very much, I guess. And then you can update the kernels. So you can see 6.14.24 was superseded by 27, and this is going to be supported till February of 2026. I'm not sure if more modern kernels are going to appear, but I think they probably will be. So when you have a newer kernel, you can move over to that, especially if you are on AMD or Intel graphics cards and you need those Mesa drivers for the latest games. If you are on an NVIDIA card, don't worry about this too much. Until you need something that is available in a newer kernel, or you have a more modern laptop, or desktop where you need the latest kernel to identify your devices, then you can go for a newer kernel. But other than that, it's really not that necessary for your average daily user. Okay, so now that we're done with the update manager, I'm not going to keep you guys waiting. We're going to talk about the new features in Linux Mint. So yeah, Linux Mint Zara, beautiful. So the first thing that we have is sticky notes. So they did receive beautiful rounded corners. We're going to verify that, I guess. And we have notes over here. Okay, so I guess it was there in the corner the first time I opened it before starting recording for this video. So this, you can see we do get rounded corners, though not all of 4 corners, and you can type my computer is the best, and that's going to be there for the rest of the video. Okay, so moving on, we do get beautiful sticky notes, and then you also, and now they're compatible with Wayland, which is a pretty good thing. And then there is a new debus method which was added to reload the notes, and we also get an Android companion app called Stinky Notes. I guess this is how you say it. Stinky Notes is written by Graham Bygrave, and it's available on this website. I mean, this looks like a pretty good thing. So you can have your notes in Linux Mint, and then you can sync them across to your Android phone, which I guess you're going to have with you all day long and not your laptop. So you can keep all these notes synchronized with your computer and your Android phone. Now, they do also have an improved login screen, so it looks better than ever thanks to the addition of a blur effect in the panel and dialog box. And these little things, man, I really, really appreciate. I'm not going to be able to show this to you guys because I'm recording with OBS, but this looks absolutely amazing. And then we're going to talk about Hypnotix. Okay, Hypnotix is one of my favorite software ever. So what they have done is they have added a theater mode to all the controls and menus are hidden so that your TV programs fill the entire window, and they also have made a borderless mode where even the other things like it would hide the window borders and title bar, so you can still move your window around with the mouse by pressing the Alt key, but you get a clean screen with no distractions. Like you can see over here, we got the back button, we got search, maximize and all that. We're not going to get any of that. You can just press Alt and then drag with your mouse to wherever you want your screen, and this is a borderless mode. So it did receive performance improvements. It's faster at startup and during search operations when dealing with large playlists, and now it also inhibits the session when playback is active, and the sound volume is no longer reset when you switch channels. That is such a good thing. Okay, enough talk. We're gonna go ahead and watch Hypnotix. I mean, we're not gonna watch any TV right now because of copyright claims, but you can see free TV getting playlist. It might take a minute to load. Actually, it was very fast, and you can create a new channel. You can add favorites. You can have preferences. Let's go to preferences, playback network, YouTube. That's all standard. This is providers. So free TV, you have a lot of channels. And I know all of these channels: NDTV, ABP News, ABP Anando, DD National, DD News. You can see them slowly loading in. This is from YouTube, and this is the live. I would not like to load that in due to copyright reasons, but this is, I mean, you can spend hours in this. You don't need cable TV for news, I guess, anymore. People don't really watch TV nowadays, even though the screens are getting bigger and not literal. That was a bad joke. Anyway, you can spend hours in this. I love this. You have like so many things: Faroe Islands, you have Costa Rica, Denmark, Dominican Republic. This is really good. And then you also do get movies. So you get movies from Spain. I've never really checked out Spanish movies. Okay, seems like this is, I'm not really sure from where it's picking this up, but the icons are slowly loading in, and it looks fine, I guess. USA, Bumblebee TV, Aurora Live. I'm not really familiar with any of these, but I mean, if you have time, just go through these and check them out one by one. Filmrise, Sci-Fi. I think you're just gonna have to watch whatever is running, and you can't pick and choose. But that would be very, like, video on demand is not. That's not gonna happen. And then you have Italy as well. Grande Fratello. I'm not gonna try pronouncing Italian. Sorry guys, I'm not Italian. Okay, so Hypnotix, pretty cool, very, very effective for killing time and for learning different languages, if that's how you use it. And now we're gonna move on. So we do get a new app, a brand new app called Fingwit. Okay, now this is dedicated to fingerprint authentication. As you can see, you have multiple fingers that you can register with Linux Mint. Let's just open up settings, and I can show you guys. I guess where we can go to desktop settings. Nope. Let's go to system settings. I guess control center, as they call it in here. And then we can go to fingerprints, and then this is Fingwit. Obviously, I am inside a virtual machine. And by the way, I don't have any fingerprint reader on my laptop. This is a Lenovo LOQ I'm using. But if I had, you would get these in here, and then you can go to about, and you can see we are on Fingwit 101.0.3. This is all very good for Linux Mint to include a fingerprint reader in their system, which makes it really handy if you have a fingerprint reader, and it would allow you for things like the authentication. So you can use it for screensavers, sudo commands, which is really good, admin apps. And now they also have a note that if like most users use home directory encryption or a keyring, the login screen still requires you to type a password. If you don't, you can configure Fingwit to also use fingerprint authentication in the login screen. So that is excellent. Moving on, we do get compatibility with Libadwaita, so Libadwaita patches and theme support. Libadwaita was patched to work with themes. Support for Libadwaita was added to Mint Y, X, and L. So Libadwaita will follow the theme. As you can see, we have the blue and yellow accent colors, and it follows that. And now it's on dark mode. It's following all that, and they changed the color, and it changed the color all over. I guess I could open this in a new tab and show it to you guys a little bit better. And as you can see, they're changing the buttons and it's changing colors. So this is the effect of having Libadwaita, and it just brings a little bit of a consistency across your desktop, which looks really nice. Little things like this, like these, go a long way. So the following apps have been upgraded. So Gnome Calendar, Simple Scan, and Baobab. And you do also get accent color. So the XDG Desktop Portal app now supports the accent colors. It would scan the GTK theme for a named color called accent color. And if it's present, it would provide that setting via the XDG settings API. So for example, if you have purple over here, you also would get purple in your calendar apps, like your GTK apps would support it. And that is pretty cool. Now this is available across Cinnamon, Mate, and XFCE. So you are good to go. Okay, so you do also get Libadwaita, Libadaptive Fork, so they are preparing for the future and potentially writing applications in Libadwaita. So the library was forked into a new XApp library called Libadapta. That's pretty good. It also has a few extra features, and you do also get tons of XApp improvements. So for example, the EDID-based color correction is now configurable and disabled by default. This feature was counterintuitive and conflicted with the color management handled at hardware and software level. And they also have included artwork improvements. So they have, they talk about how gray is not completely gray, and Google and GitHub, they use grays with increasing amounts of blue or red or green in their apps, so it brings out a little bit of life to the gray. Sometimes it looks a little bit warm, sometimes it looks a little bit cold or neutral, depending on what colors they have pushed. So they do go in depth talking about it, and they also have other improvements. So let's talk about the software manager, and I think it's going to take a little bit of time to open up, but in the meantime, we can just look at this beautiful screenshot and go ahead. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. You have a beautiful card, and you can go through these cards. You also get featured sections with multiple categories. And the one thing that they did good was they added a help section to explain the differences between Flatpak and system apps. So beautifully, they mention over here that if this is a system package, they are managed by your Linux distribution and use shared libraries and resources. They're safe, small, and stable. They receive bug fixes and security updates, but no newer versions. So for example, you have Ubuntu, let's say 24.02 installed on your system, and you have a system app installed. Okay, so what it does is the app that you're downloading does not have all the dependencies that it needs to function. It shares those dependencies from your operating system, and so if you push a more modern version of the app that does not have those dependencies in the operating system, it's not going to be able to perform. So while you will receive bug fixes and security updates, you will not be getting newer versions of the app. On the other hand, if you use Flatpak, which is like binding everything together, all of your dependencies, the main app, everything together, and they're also updated directly by the owner. So Flatpaks are maintained and updated directly by their owner with no control from your Linux distribution. What this does is this severs the tie between your operating system, the dependencies that the operating system provides, and your application. So they take up more space, obviously, because they have to bundle all the dependencies. Their security is not guaranteed by your Linux distribution, but it's usually safe if you're downloading from Flatpak and it's a reputable app, but by the Flatpak's maintainer, okay? It is essential you trust the maintainer before installing a Flatpak. So things like VS Code and stuff, I'm not sure, I'm just saying names, things like OBS and stuff, obviously you know that this is provided by the official OBS people, so this is going to be safe, okay? That was an excellent explanation. This is for beginners, by the way. Don't knock me saying, why did you explain such a simple thing? I know a lot of people are shifting over from Windows to Linux nowadays. I see it on Reddit, see it on Twitter or X, whatever, and I felt like this was a good time to explain that. And apart from that, they also talk about how they have the Linux kernel 6.14, which is a good improvement because the last time for 22.1 they had 6.8, and they also have an LTS strategy this time around. I mean, every Linux Mint is an LTS, I guess. And then Linux Mint 22.2, it will receive security updates until 2029. As you saw previously, the kernel 6.14 is supported through February of 2026. So, I mean, you will get more modern kernel, but this is a very, very stable system with a good community of developers and people behind it. So you will not be facing problems very easily. And even if you do, because this is software land, anything can happen in software, you have people who are going to help you. Okay, so until 2026, the development team won't even start working on a new base and will be fully focused on this one. So you're going to be happy that forever this system will be yours, will be in your control. You do whatever you want to do with it, and this will be supported. Okay, and I guess we can go through the settings. So this is the settings. I really love the settings and how they have everything neatly organized. Groups with administration, hardware, and they highlight this portion. I really love this. And then they have changed themes as well over here and set preferred applications. So for the internet, for multimedia system, office, and accessibility, all of this is pretty good. Linux Mint, Mate, man, you choose Mate, you choose XFCE or Cinnamon, the flagship edition. You're not going to go wrong with Linux Mint, whichever version you choose. Okay. And look what I forgot to talk about. This is the software manager. I guess I did talk about it just a little bit, but this is the software manager in Flash. It looks really good. Let's go to something, let's say like Bitwarden. And as you can see, it does have the help section that we talked about. And this is Flatpak by default. It does not have a system package, which is good. So this is updated. As you can see, the size is a little bit big because you have all the dependencies bundled up in this app. And yeah, you have a little bit of a history. You have reviews, details, and you have documentation. You can go to the homepage of the developer. Everything is pretty good, and then you have screenshots as well. I like this. They show the screenshot like this. That's really good. Okay, so software manager, a really good thing. All of Linux, man, everything is so good in Linux Mint. It's literally my favorite operating system apart from Pop! OS. So yeah, with that, we come to the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to meet very soon with another video on another day. Peace.